Hey, what's up, everybody? Matthew, Watty's channel. Today is Saturday, August the 19th, and we are making our second video this morning. So, I mentioned in the last video I was going to dive into the Mattel Monster Collection. The great thing about this lot, it only contains 6 figures. Now, I don't have any of these figures loose, so hopefully you guys will be able to make them out on card. So, Mattel has actually done some pretty amazing things with these kind of monster collections. And, wrestlers are always like kind of referred to as like beasts and monsters and stuff, in the ring. So kind of turning them into these supernatural beings is absolutely incredible. With the monster collection, I believe this was actually the third collection that came out. I wanted to start with these because, again, only 6 figures, relatively easy to get into one video. The mutants also have only 6 figures, so again, we'll be able to get that in one video. Zombies, I'm looking at it. I think it has 2 different series for zombies, but I'm pretty sure that I have all the figures. I could be wrong. Hopefully not, but we'll take a look when we get to them. I think we have enough figures at least to kind of get a feel for, what to expect in that particular line. So, monsters. I believe this came out in 2017. As you guys know, I've only really started collecting in, the fourth quarter of 2021. So I'm not a long time collector or anything. These are all things that I've found and were interest me and I purchased. And me having OCD, if I get one item from that line, I gotta have them all. If I get one item on card, I gotta have them all on card. It's just how I operate. So as I said, these are all like your 1930s monsters, Hollywood monsters. And I just think they are all absolutely incredible. So the first one we're going to look at is the Undertaker, who kind of portrays this vampire monster. Not so much a vampire, but he's more like a bat creature. But he actually is, let's see, say here, yep, Undertaker as the vampire. So the figure is absolutely amazing. And when you kind of look at it on the background, he kind of looks like this, 1990s, animated gargoyles cartoon, figure. So it says, the original monster of the ring, Undertaker even has Nosferatu hiding in fear. The dead man cannot rest in peace until his vampiric thirst is quenched. That is so awesome. And I'm trying to see if they have a year on here. Eyesight's pretty bad, so I'm not sure if I could even make it out, but anyways, the first figure, one of 6, is the Undertaker, trying to give different angles. And I think the Undertaker, kind of looking at the rest of these figures, is really the one figure that they really do a good job on. The rest of them, yeah, they turn them into pretty solid monsters, but it's more like a paint job, or throwing on the right clothes to turn them into said monster. This one, he actually does look like he actually transferred into a real monster, so that's pretty cool. So, next figure we're looking at is Braun Strowman, who portrays this Frankenstein monster creature, and this is kind of like what I'm talking about. So when you look at Braun Strowman, he doesn't look like he really turned into a monster per se. He just looks like, they threw on some, what is that? That's okay, that's just brown pants. I thought it was like, camouflage, either hunting camouflage pants or army camouflage pants or something, but that's not even it. Just regular brown pants. And, it looks like they could have like colored or painted, painted his body or something. He didn't really transform into like a physical monster. Whereas you can actually see a bat monster here. But Braun Strowman as Frankenstein. Technically it's Frankenstein's monster. But it says, it's alive. The Mad Doctor Stromenstein? Okay, whatever. It's alive. The Mad Doctor Stromenstein's unstoppable monster among men. Rampage through village after village in search of real competition. Alright, I like that. That sounds pretty decent. And Braun Strowman, again, it is a really solid figure. Big, bulky, exact type of figures that I like. Great for display, just beauty. And these figures, probably go for close to $100 today. So I'm sure some of them you might luck out, get them on card. If the card is in really good shape, you're probably gonna look at about $40 or so. I keep calling her Asuka, but that's not her name. But Braun Strowman, number 2. Number 3 is Chris Jericho portraying the Mummy. So it says, wrapped in his own list, the mummified Y2J rises from his ancient pyramid tomb with the names of his enemies chiseled into the tablet of Jericho. I don't think any of these are like really pristine cards, and I think that's what allowed me to actually buy these for, I don't want to say cheap. None of these figures are cheap. I mean, like I said, if you get these for $30, $40, to me that's expensive. But, it's at least doable, where I've seen a lot of these cards, again, sell for upwards of $70+ into the $100 range. Kind of give you the Mummy. Kind of give you like a full, can't give you a 360, but give you at least a 270. Okay, so he's got like a nice little, not a tomb, we call it a little tablet up there. And is there anything else in this particular figure? So I didn't watch WCW, so I'm not really familiar with this character, but I think it was called the Yeti, and it was just a tall guy dressed like a mummy, wrapped in like toilet paper or something. I don't know. That's exactly what this reminds me of. And like I said, not really any of these characters can you really say that they are actually formally transformed into monsters. They just look like they got different paint jobs and, thrown into a costume. But that's 3 out of 6. Number 4, which to me literally has no change whatsoever. So this one is Jake Roberts, as I call it the Snake Man, but on the card they just simply call him the Creature. So it says, luring in victims into the murky marsh with poisonous words, the venomous master of snakes, Jake Roberts, tightens his hold on the WWE. Now, outside of the Undertaker, and I think this is probably the number 1 figure I was actually looking for of the Monsters collection, I think that this right here is probably the most expensive of the 6. And again, I don't know where I got this or how much I paid for it. I'm thinking only because the card is beat up. Like areas like here and here and whatnot. I think I may have gotten it for around $30. But again, generally, this particular figure, even loose, you're paying a large fraction or large chunk of the price compared to other figures. I'm trying to see if these like kind of like scratch marks in here. Built-in scratch marks, not, somebody scratching them up. Jake Roberts. This is one of those figures I would love to have loose because it just looks so awesome, I know, guys, in this video I'm not doing a lot of back history or anything. I'm just basically taking a look at the figures. With these particular lines, I think that's all I'm going to do. With the monsters, the zombies, with the mutants, I think it's basically going to show off the figures. I don't know if I'm going to do a lot of back history or anything like that, talking about particular wrestlers. Some of the characters, like this guy, Roman Reigns. The only time I've ever seen Roman Reigns was like on recent YouTube Royal Rumble matches. I don't think I've ever seen this guy wrestle directly. So, but another one of those guys from the Asoi family. I know I'm not pronouncing that name correctly, but I'm doing my best. Right there, relatives to some extent with guys like The Rock and the Wild Samoans and the Head Shrinkers and Yokozuna. In that family. Nia Jax is in that family. Jimmy Snuka's in that family. Again, guys like that are married into the family, but Roman Reigns is part of that family history. And again, probably one of my favorites, only a simple fact because it's a werewolf figure, and I love, werewolf movies or whatnot. So, does he have any particular... See, looking at this, again, there's not really I don't see any change in my, if he actually turned into like an actual werewolf creature, that would have been awesome. Where they, for the vampire, they actually turned Undertaker into like an actual bat. They could have turned this into a wolf. But he's just, all they do is put fangs on him and call him Roman Reigns. Okay, whatever. With Roman Reigns, they don't really give you any kind of like description on the back. That's all they give you. I'm like, that's stupid, lame. And where the rest of these, it tells you right at the bottom. Like, Jake Roberts, the creature, right down there. With this figure, they don't do that. They just simply Roman Reigns. So you know that this is a werewolf figure, no doubt. But they don't say what kind of creature it is. So, at least based on this kind of detail, one of my least favorite figures of the line. It's tall, it's good, it's a good looking figure. It's just, it doesn't have all the added features that a lot of the other, box sets have. So, that is, where are we at? 3, 4, 5. Alright, again, I keep calling her Asuka. I think it's pronounced like Asuke or something like that. It says Asuke, again, if I'm saying it right, I don't know, as the Phantom. I don't really, again, I look at this, I don't really think of it as, Phantom in the Opera type of Phantom. I don't think of this as like Ghost Phantom. I think of this as more of like a zombie type, creature kind of looking at it. So it says, as the Phantom, with her mask on, Asuka sends chills down your spine. When she removes it, the haunting Phantomus of Tomorrow. Phantomus of Tomorrow. Whatever. Exacts revenge, grinning ear to ear. If you guys watch or are familiar with the Mortal Kombat video games, so there's one character. So you have Katana and you have Marlena. They're supposed to be like twin sisters and everything. Katana in blue is like one of the most beautiful women you'd ever see, type of deal. And Marlena, again, she's in like red or purple type color. And, they're twins. They're supposed to be identically beautiful women. But Marlena was disfigured, or maybe she was born, disfigured, whatever. And so the way that her mouth kind of opens up, kind of like as a monster type. And that's why she kind of falls under Shao Kahn's, how do you say it? His stable of warriors. Kind of like Shang Tsung and Goro and all that, right? So, I mentioned Marlena because that's exactly what this kind of reminds me of to an extent, Her mouth probably doesn't open up quite as high as how Marlena does when she would, kind of do her fatalities or whatever on you, but she reminds me of the Marlena character. First time I ever saw Asuke wrestle, again, I was in Iraq, and I was, after work, I'd stay in the office and do homework or something, or maybe I would just want to stay in there, use the internet, and, watch YouTube, whatever, and I started catching up on, like, all these Royal Rumbles, and I've never seen a female Royal Rumble before. I think the first one I ever watched was probably like 2020 or 2019, something like that. And I started watching, they're all out of order, but I watched the 2018 through 2021 Royal Rumbles, and I was so impressed, because I think one of the first ones I watched was her winning a Royal Rumble. I don't remember what year that was, but it had to be like either the first or second Rumble I watched. And she always comes in, she's always incredible in the ring, and you know what, the female Royal Rumble, 1,000 times better than you've seen any of these male Royal Rumbles over the last 20 plus years. You look at the men's Royal Rumble from 1990, 1992, even in like 95. 93 Rumble with Yokozuna was good, but you had all these like really incredible, life-altering Rumbles around the 1990, era. And then you watch them today, and they're like some of the most boring matches you'd ever seen. People, they don't like the home run derby during All-Star break because, it's just basically batting practice, or that's the excuse that why people don't like it. I disagree. I always thought that, the home run derby was like one of the best sporting events, during that competition. I didn't really care about the game itself. Royal Rumble's kind of same thing, but winner goes to WrestleMania and challenges for the belt. So there is something to be said about winning the Rumble. But one of my favorite events ever, and nowadays I'm bored by them. I think once I watch Steve Austin enter a Royal Rumble, throw a bunch of guys out, sit on the turnbuckle, wait for the next guy to come in, throw him out, go back to the turnbuckle, sit down, throw the next guy out, repeat. Like, how many times did that happen? I'm like, is this match over yet? So friggin' boring. I don't know what the heck Royal Rumble has to do with this video, but oh yeah, it's okay. That's what I was talking about. I got memory problems, so I got to kind of backtrack and kind of rehash what I was going over to kind of figure out, why I was talking about going off on these tangents. So that is the 6 figures of the Monster line, and I got the mutants hanging up over there. There's 2 different versions, but the zombies, that's probably going to be after the mutants. I don't know which one is Series 1, Series 2. I'll probably have to look that up real quick to find out. Otherwise, I don't think it really matters which order I go in. But I am going to break the zombies into two sections, 2 videos. And I'll probably do these back to back. And I don't know. I'll post these videos back to back, and then what I'll probably do is continue on with the different figures made by different toy companies. And up until I get those next batch of Remco figures in, and then I'll go into the tournament from there. Am I still going to do the Random Treasures videos, tournament videos? I want to say yes, but the only thing holding me up right now is the fact that I really don't want to do the tournament unless I have a complete collection. At least a complete collection as of right now. I could start making the videos and they could come out with another figure or 2. That's fine. As long as I have all the current figures when I start the video, that's what I'm looking for. I did have an LJN Ultimate Warrior sell on auction for like $500. Loose figure, spare. And if the buyer actually pays for it, again, 70% of what I sell goes unpaid. And it's so annoying because I always have to relist. But if they do pay, that's like $425 or so, net pay out of that. And I should be able to pick up like 3 figures doing it that way. But we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys updated, let you know if or when that tournament does happen. But as in the short term, the Remco tournament and the Galoob tournament is something I really want to do before the year is over. Alright, that's it for now, guys. Once again, I'm going to try my best to post these back-to-back days. If I can't, every other day is fine. Alright, I'll talk to you later. Goodbye, everybody.